be talking about
marriage or no marriage.
Yeah. So, should you marry somebody or should you not? I think ultimately it's all up to whether you're ready to actually settle down or not. Whether are you ready to take on any challenges that may come or not. You know, I think that's the biggest icebreaker. Is are you willing to stick with this person for the rest of your life, no matter what? Now, I'm not saying that, you know, if she decides she wants to go out and cheat on you, he decides to cheat on you, you should just kind of like just stick it out. I'm not saying that. Unless you want to, then that's on you. All I'm saying is, you know, you have to be willing to be ready for the ups and the downs.
But can't you do that without an actual?
Yes, you can't. You can't do it without marrying. So if you don't want to marry, I mean, it's just reality. It's just a paper and a title, pretty much. Like being able to, for her to take my last name or vice versa, whatever. But I think ultimately it's all just a paper. You can literally be with somebody for 10, 12, 15 years and not have to marry, but the other partner's waiting, but the other one doesn't really believe in marriage. So it's like, are you really forcing the other person to, you know, marry you because you want them to propose to you? You guys been good for 12, 15 years. What's the big deal?
I think that's a conversation you should have early on. Like if both people, both persons decide we don't really believe in having a wedding, having a marriage or whatever, but I'm committed to you, and as long as, you know, you're committed to me, we're a partner, we can go through life together. We just don't believe in the actual wedding or marriage. So I think if they both decide that, then hey, that's probably what works best for them. But if you feel like you are wasting time and this person doesn't even want to commit to you, you just kind of in and out of the relationship, like there's no real commitment, then that's a whole different story, and I wouldn't advise people wasting their time that way.
No.
But if they're committed to each other in a partnership, I don't think there's a time frame. Like if they decide they're not ready yet to have the wedding, then that's something they decide together.
Yeah, you have to be able to decide from that at the beginning.
Early on, yeah.
You know, not 5 years down the road.
Yeah, there's one person waiting on it.
Propose, you know, for one another. Or, you know, you just don't want to wait on it. You want to be able to talk about it from the beginning. I'm talking about like 3-4 months. Be like, hey, you know, would you ever see yourself marrying me?
Probably even before that.
Or, you know, it's like you just want to make sure that your time is valued. Like your time is always going to be valuable, no matter what. So it's like you have to take into consideration that other person would want to actually marry you.
Pretty much. I wouldn't even wait 3 to 4 months. That's something you should have probably in the first month. Just to know what page they're on. You don't want to waste your time.
Yeah, but you didn't ask me, hey, what you think about marriage? I'm pretty sure we didn't talk about it. I knew I wanted to get married. Like, it's not, for me, it
can't be a promise ring months into it. Of course I knew you already.
True, but, you know, it's just, when you know, you know.
Yep.
When you know that person is going to be with you through thick and thin.
Yeah, but I think traditionally, most people expect people to get married like within 2 to 3 years, traditionally. I mean, we did, but it doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
Like, somebody can wait 5 years, still get married, and nothing's wrong with their relationship. Like, you know, I think traditionally that's what we see and that's what we expect. So a lot of time when we see people in a 5, 6, 7 year relationship with no ring, we're wondering like, how could they do that? How could they stay in a relationship? I used to be that person that think that, but I think things have changed where now I see a lot more couples who are like partners and making moves together. They do everything together like a married couple. Like they make investments, they have a house together, assets together. So at that point, you're doing everything basically that a marriage would be. So I think things have changed, the labels have changed in terms of the expectation of what marriage is.
Well, what if the other person has married, you know, multiple times?
Yeah, sometimes somebody get married and then they don't want to do it again.
Yeah, so what if they end up doing it, but they still have like a wall up to the point
they probably do, but again, it comes back to the making that agreement together. If your partner is okay with you, like taking your time, maybe they're, you know, that they will change their mind a couple months or years in then as long as you agree with what I said, if I say, hey, I want to wait 5 years to get married, and if your partner is okay with that and right there with you, then nothing is wrong with that, you know. But you can't blame the person when 3 years in and you're like, well, get mad at the situation. But that's something you have to decide together, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's my opinion on that.
For us, it was just more about like what we knew, what we wanted.
Yeah,
for ourselves,
that's the key.
You know,
we decided when the date was.
It's just a matter of like whether you're willing to sacrifice your life for the other and vice versa. You know, you can't keep living in the past and expect it to work out with this new person that you're with. You have to be able to move on from what you have done in the past and know that this person that you're with now is here for you and only you.
I agree. That's something you have to know before you get married. A lot of people, that's the thing. Some people get married just because they think if they get married, it's going to fix the issues that were already there before they get married. That's not the case.
Yeah.
So those are things and conversation you should have before you get married. Don't just get married because, it's going to fix everything. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be good. Marriage is work. So unless you're willing to put in that work, it's a relationship regardless. But you have to be willing to do the work. Yeah. Like, don't get married for the wrong reasons. Exactly. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And I think like she said, I think that, 3 to 5 years, if it's 5 years you guys been together and you guys have married, I think that time that you guys were together before y'all was married was actually a build up to what's to come in the future. Now, if you decide to marry each other within the first year, or even within the two first years, I'm not jinxing anybody, and I'm not saying that it's wrong, but the majority of what's going on nowadays is that marriage starts to sink your relationship.
Because they didn't know each other well before they got married.
Exactly. So it's like
they were still in that fun stage of dating, having fun. Like, let's get married. But you didn't really know what the person expects of you, what you expect of them. You didn't know where they see themselves in 5 years, how they handle arguments, how they communicate, the day-to-day of just being a normal
and I feel like before you marry somebody, you should be able to live with that person with at least between a year to 2 years. And I'm not talking about, you being together for 2 years and then all of a sudden you guys move in together and now y'all want to marry within the first year being in the same house together, because it's a different atmosphere. When you are on your own and you are dealing with your own problems with no relationship, like I'm talking about like marriage-wise relationship, you are doing things differently. Now that you're mixing in your routine with somebody else, that other person doesn't know what your routine is.
I think, without going too deep into this, but I think that's what happened during the pandemic as well. It forced people to be together longer in the same space, especially like celebrities or people who are always on the move. Like, they're used to just coming and going, so they don't face all the issues that they would probably have being in the house. So now with the pandemic, and it's like, okay, looking at you, what are we doing?
Right. Like people,
I have to look at you all day.
Yeah, like,
so now they don't know how to handle.
Especially if you didn't have a job that is that was required for you to be there, like police officer, detention, essentials.
So
positions. Now they're forced to be home and work from home, and it's just like, what are we gonna do? It's like you're not used to that life.
Yep, I think that's what happened with a lot of relationships during the pandemic. So many people broke up because they couldn't stand each other while being in the same house no more.
Can you imagine? Like, you're used to going in and out,
it's like, I tolerate you for a little while.
Exactly. Like, I tolerate you for a little while, and then you come in and you go, you gone throughout the day going to work, and I barely see you. Now all of a sudden, you're out of work, or there's no work because it's COVID, or we're probably not even meant to. We're probably not supposed to say that word.
We're in the pandemic, and now you're forced.
But exactly. So now you're just forced to see each other on a daily basis.
So much going on.
You're not used to the noise. You're not used to running back, getting mad, and split ups happen.
Yep, so many of them.
It's sad. It's sad to see that happen, and it's just
it is
better off for you to actually see what is.
And it comes back to people not wanting to put in the effort and the work, and also ignoring those red flags early on. and now expecting marriage to fix that.
Yeah.
No, don't ignore the red flags, because a lot of people get married and they have a bad feeling about, you know, being with this person for a long time, but they still do it because they think, oh, well, my mom want me to marry this person, or you know, stuff like that. Like, well, he does provide for me, he's financially stable,
but that's
so I need to settle for so many little reasons that they might just go with it just for the hell of it.
That shouldn't be the only reason why you're with somebody.
Well,
because they're financially stable.
I've seen it on.
You have to be able to be independent as well.
I've seen it on like a lot of like TV shows and stuff. There's a couple like reality couples where they were literally arguing on the wedding day. Like things were not even going good on the wedding day. But what do? They still do it, and months later, the D word happens. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys believe in marriage, or you guys don't believe in marriage? Would you rather just be with a partner for the rest of your life without the paperwork or the ring? Or would you rather actually be with somebody who wants to marry you because they love you for?
And another thing too, a lot of people think there's certain benefits to being married. Like, there is, but they think of the wrong benefits.
Yeah.
With married, like, oh, now we can file taxes together.
You can still file separate.
But you'd be surprised when you file together, you don't get nothing back.
Yeah, you don't. There's so much to it. But realistically, like, we filed together, that's another story. Financially, that's another.
Yeah, but, you know, people just look at it that way. Like, oh, we get some, you know, financial benefits or tax breaks or stuff like that together. But you can't think of it that way. You just got to think about having a partner to go through life with, financially, somebody to be by your side, all those things. I can't talk. All those things. So those are my thoughts. I think things have changed, and I don't really. I mean, obviously we're married, and I'm happy about that decision. But I've seen other couples, and I'm like, well, if that works for them, then they shouldn't feel guilty or feel rushed to get married if they don't want to.
And for us, it was actually a lucky thing, you know. For us, we moved in together before we even decided to be an item. Or is it item or idol? Item?
Yeah.
Before we decided to be an item.
I don't think we want to be an idol.
All right. Yeah, we do. But, you know, we was just like roommates. The relationship came when I realized that I had something special and I had something good
that you didn't want to
lose. I did not want to lose, you know, and the relationship happened. And then after a year, I think,
6 months?
No, it was the same. I think it was the same month that I asked you out. It was boyfriend and girlfriend, and then on the 21st of that month, I gave you a promise ring and told you I was going to be with you. And then about a year and a half later, I think it was, I proposed. And I think that was, it was about
a year later.
A year later, exactly a year later, I proposed. But you know, it's not a common thing to happen. Yeah. You know, it's not always a good relationship that would.
I just think every situation is different. That's why I don't like judge relationships, because if the person can spend a lot of time together in 2-3 months and decide they want to be together like long term. Yeah. So it depends on the situation, but just make sure like you know enough about this person, dig deep, ask the right questions, all those stuff to make sure you're making a good decision.
Yeah, because you don't want to be married within the first year and now you're getting a divorce 6 months.
Yeah, people get married and a couple weeks later they decide, like, didn't you just get married? I've seen that recently too with a couple celebrities. I'm like,
I remember when I was going through the academy down in Florida, this one kid, he had actually married the girl for the wrong reasons, and that was because he wanted to get more money out of the military.
That's what I was trying to say about the financial.
To get more money out of that because they were together. 6 months down the road, they ended up getting a divorce. So you have to be able to know that he or she is the one. And we hope that you guys can communicate with us as far as going down.
Let us know whether your thoughts on what you guys think. Are you married? Common law? Waiting to get engaged? Waiting to be married? Which one?
If you guys like this video, make sure to leave us a like, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. And until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.
Come on, get up.
You and these ideas.
Yes, get up. 2, 1.
All right.
All right.
Is that heavy?
A little bit.